Good evening. It is Wednesday, August 10th, 5:30, 5:30 roughly. It's the monthly meeting of the Urbana Human Relations Commission. Could we please have a roll call?
Frances Rigberg Baker,
Here.
Carol Bradford, Stacy Burnett, Samuel Bindum,
Here.
Daniel Larson,
Here.
Lisa Mosley,
Here.
Peter Resnick,
Here.
Aisha Lamb Sobe, and Catalina Thomas.
Here.
Thank you. Looking over tonight's agenda, are there any additions, edits, or corrections that need to be made?
I'd like to propose, we've talked about before that what we've been listing as committees are not actually committees,
There.
and we don't want to give the impression we're running afoul of the Open Meetings Act here. These are just projects that folks are working with Alex on. So let's just change the agenda to read project reports, community relations project, criminal justice project, ordinance enforcement project, training and development project.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. All right, looking over, are there any other additions, edits, or corrections to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. Looking over the minutes from our July 13th meeting, are there any additions, edits, or corrections that need to be made? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve July's meetings.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you again. Our fourth item is public participation. Hearing none, seeing none. We will jump over old business as there is none and jump right to new business and project reports. Community relations. You guys are up first.
We're working on the addition of a student rep to the commission and a student intern in the Human Relations Office. And to that end, we're working on the application form now. We've made our contacts with the schools, Uni and Urbana High School, and it seems to be going smoothly.
Great news. Great news.
I would just like to also add that I was able to attend with Alex the Champaign Coalition, Community Coalition monthly meeting, and just as part of our community relations project, we wanted to get out and see what other resources are in our community. We have many different folks, I think, very interested in issues going on. It's quite a variety of people who attend. We have both Champaign and Urbana Police Chief. We had the sheriff, also someone from the FBI. We had school district personnel there, as well as just interested citizens. These take place the second Wednesday from 3:30 to 5 at the Champaign Public Library, and I'd like to encourage any of the commissioners as well as the community members to participate. Some of the activities that they discussed is Walk for One, which is coming up. That's sometimes where the police will collaborate with the schools and the city council and go into different neighborhoods that they're wanting to target. This year the focus is on early childhood and social emotional education, and they're going to be delivering some basic activities for kids and parents to read with their children, play with their children, and talk with their children were the main ideas there. That is September 13th and is sponsored by United Way. They also had a showing of Racial Taboo. There is another chance to also get to go out if you haven't seen that movie yet. It will be at the Unitarian Universal Church, September 18th at 2:30, free of cost. I think they've shown that several times and continue to. They also spoke with the producer, Brian Grimm. Karen Sims with the CU Neighborhood Champions talked about trauma training, and that if there are groups, minimum of 10 people, that are interested in coming together. I personally have thought of that in connection with my work with students and helping teachers be trained. So again, that might be something we may even think that it would be worthwhile to bring in to Urbana to open that up as well. So just some ideas just of resources that I think that would really benefit, and that is to talk with the families, children, adults who have witnessed trauma or have experienced trauma directly. CU Fresh Start is a community liaison program that is really helping, focusing deterrent initiative is what they called it, and it's really looking at helping those people who have been jailed re-enter our community and have the support that they probably will need to overcome barriers. There's also another event, back to school. The Dapper University is pairing with Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club. It's going to be free school supplies giveaway. Also, though, really instilling and giving some of our children in the community who may not see people dressed for success and talking about why you do that. And just when you look good, you feel good. That's kind of the thought I had when they were talking. So again, a variety of opportunities for anybody interested to get involved. They have many subcommittees as well. So I would encourage either to go to a meeting, go to their website, and check out for any additional information. Did you have anything else, Alex?
Yeah, just we're very excited about having from now on a dedicated representative at the coalition from the HRC. So as the work group for community, the project group for community relations, we have agreed that every meeting one of us will attend, either Lisa or Fran or I, preferably two of us, so that we can stay connected and make sure that where appropriate, we can link up services. And the only thing I wanted to add in terms of a slight amplification is these two topics were discussed that Lisa alluded to. The reentry piece, there's a reentry council here in Champaign-Urbana, and a presentation will be held at the next meeting to really discuss what happens in our area with respect to reentry. And then the CU Fresh Start is a little bit, as part of the reentry, let me step back, there's going to be a public forum, and I think I've notified all of you, and if I didn't, Tony, will you make a note to notify everyone? There's going to be an important public forum coming up in September to discuss diversion options. And so when we consider the pipeline from school to prison, diversion, of course, is an excellent opportunity. And so members of the public will be invited to attend. And I'm not sure exactly if it's the Reentry Council that's doing that or affiliates, but those are two separate pieces. The CU Fresh Start actually goes somewhere in the middle, and that is to specifically address the gun violence. So we have all this gun violence, and there's going to be, they're preparing for a call-in for those individuals they've identified as potential persons involved in the violence, to call them in, and some of the impacted families, and begin to bring about an intervention of some sort. And so we're really excited to be in and listening already, and then at the next session we'll see how that's progressing along. And that, of course, is related to the book that we purchased for you. One important thing, that distinction they made there, and it's important for us to continue to make, is that the steering committee of the CU Fresh Start took great attention to really look at how they named their program. And so they didn't name it Don't Shoot, although some elements of that methodology are in it. Their focus is more a fresh start, or an intervention and a departure in a different direction. So not quite re-entry focused, it's more that addressing the gun violence and an alternative path there. And so that would be an important distinction to make. The only other item that I would add with respect to the community relations project is we do a lot of wonderful things as part of the Human Relations Commission and as part of the Human Relations Office and the Civilian Police Review Board. And so one thing that I've gone ahead and secured is table space at the CU Champaign-Urbana Days, which will be happening August 12th and 13th. Our table will be on Saturday the 13th, and at Douglas Park, which is a community that we want to make sure we have some representation at. I will staff the table from 11 a.m. to roughly about 5 p.m., which is most of the information vendors will be at. I would like to invite all of you to come by if you are able to. If you'd like to sign up for a half hour or an hour, that's fine. If you don't have that time available this time around, that's fine. One of the things that I'm working on is an annual outreach calendar for the commission, so you'll be able to sign up in advance. So if you want to come out this time around, you're extremely welcome to do so.
Could you repeat that date again?
It is this Saturday,
Okay.
August 13th, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we'll send you out an email tomorrow morning reminding you of it. Will you just pass this down, Fran? Related to that, I went ahead and purchased, they asked for $25 or so of donation to families that have kids returning to school. And so I went ahead and purchased with my funds some amount of crayons and some amount of notebooks, and wanted to ask if the commission would authorize a reimbursement. It's I think I exceeded it. I think it's $35 instead of the $25. And so when the families are going around to the various tables, we will have those materials there so the families can pick them up, however many children they have, and work through. So at the very end, if the commission entertains a motion to reimburse the Human Relations Office for any expenditure, that would be wonderful. Also, the Champaign-Urbana Taste of Champaign-Urbana is coming up. I believe that's the next weekend. I've gone ahead and secured a tent for us, for the city actually, so that we're in attendance both days, and a sign-up sheet will go out. And if any of you are interested and or available to come out for an hour or a half hour, you're welcome to do so. I'm also going to invite the Civilian Police Review Board, and reached out to other units of the city so that if they want pamphlets, we can go ahead and have a unified presence. Also, in the last week in August, I've secured us a table at the Sweet Corn Festival, and so for both days. And so you'll also have an opportunity to sign up for any one of those days. So it'll really set up our year in terms of a blitz of outreach. We'll have our new business cards out. We'll have our new pamphlets out. The housing poster and employment posters will be finalized by the Taste of Champaign and this Sweet Corn Festival. Not for the market days. It's not quite that particular kind of event. Then in September, I've gone ahead and signed us up for 2 dates. So we'll take a breather in the first week, and I think it's the 2nd and the 4th week of September. You'll get the dates in an email. We'll be at the market on the square, the Human Relations Commission, and I think that's very early, 7 a.m. to it's all over by noon. And so anyone that's interested in coming out and participating, that would be wonderful. A lot of the effort, of course, is to make sure everybody understands that we're here, what our mission is, how accessible we are, and to ask questions and break myths. And so with this respect to the Civilian Police Review Board, it'll be interesting, and the Human Relations Commission, people come up and say, how does discrimination work? Sometimes people say, well, it doesn't have anything to do with me, particularly Caucasian individuals. And I've had the pleasure of saying, oh, yes, it does. We don't protect a particular race, but we protect the discrimination in terms of race. So a Caucasian person could absolutely be discriminated against, and they're protected. And so I've had a lot of ahas just on that one alone. So it'll be a great opportunity. And as we're going through the rest of the year, we will give you advance information so that you can sign up for whatever is appropriate.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, Fran. All right, moving along to the Criminal Justice Project. I regrettably couldn't make our meeting, but Samuel, anything to add or share?
Just,
Sorry to put you on the spot.
yeah, all I'm doing is continue to look at I'm continuing to do research based on the topics that we discussed before, and so just waiting on a meeting so we can debrief and
Cool.
work on next steps.
I'll be there, no doubt, next Friday. Alrighty, moving on to the ordinance enforcement project.
Well, I came back from vacation and a business trip to discover the minutes that I'll be meeting with Catalina and our HRO to discuss our project. So we'll make an arrangement, unless Catalina, you've met with Alex already. Okay.
Great, glad to hear.
No, we cannot have a meeting without Peter Resnick and his historical knowledge. I must say that I am incredibly excited about that meeting. We have a significant opportunity to look at our ordinance and modernize it. It's historic. It's expansive. It has a lot of great things, but there are some terminology that is a little outdated. There's some new legislation that provides some coverage that we provide implicitly, but it would be helpful. I have a marked up version of the ordinance that Peter did a long time ago, so that'll be a starting point. I've already reached out to and collected several of the leading ordinances in the country that we will be able to use as we begin our inquiry, and we'll have an opportunity to reach out to key stakeholders. For example, Peter asked the gentleman from Mike Ziti from Equity Illinois if he would comment with respect to his particular audience, where the ordinance is at. So I'm really excited about that, and we'll hope to get it scheduled now that we're out of the summer. This summer's been crazy, absolutely crazy, in September.
Great, thank you all. And finally, training and development project.
I had an opportunity to meet with Stacy and Carol. That project group doesn't have an assigned group at the moment with Kevin Bowersox Johnson's retirement. And so we are going to discuss, I mixed them up. Stacy Burnett as the lead and Carol as the secondary. And so we'll be scheduling a meeting and working on the training and development piece. I'll report out on that in the next session.
Excellent. Alrighty, moving on to agenda item number 7. Alex, we'll turn it over to you with the staff report, please.
Okay, we have several new companies that are applying, and I think next month we'll have quite a bit more as we're putting out quite a few RFPs and projects. We have as the first new applicant Advanced Commercial Roofing, and you'll see that they're an organization located in Champaign. They are an 80 employee organization. They have a 22.5% female utilization rate and a 5.0 minority utilization rate. We're recommending their certification for 1 year. We have Henson Robinson Company. They are an organization located in Springfield, Illinois. They have 184 employees, a 6.0 female utilization rate, a 7.1 minority utilization rate, and we are recommending their certification for 1 year. They are an HVAC plumbing, roofing, and sheet metal service provider. We have MTI Distributing. They are applying for certification. They are a farm and garden equipment provider. They have 94 employees, a female utilization rate of 19.1, and a minority utilization workforce rate of 7.4. We're also recommending their certification for 1 year. We have Reynolds Towing Service Incorporated, a small company. They provide towings and city services. They're located in Urbana. They have a female utilization rate of 7.7% and a minority workforce utilization rate of 3.8. we're recommending their certification at 1 year. If the commission felt that 2 years, because of their size, is appropriate, I could concur with that as well. We have Top Quality Roofing, which provides roofing and sheet metal services. They are in Mount Zion, Illinois. They are a 38-person company. They have 5.3% female utilization and 5.3% minority workforce utilization. We're recommending their certification at 1 year. Finally, we have WCP Solar. They are a company in Naperville, Illinois. They are a small company, 20 employees. Their female utilization rate is 10%, and their minority workforce utilization is 55%. Given their size and their utilization rates, we're recommending their certification at the 2-year mark. Those are our first-time renewals. Did you want to make a motion or do it all together?
Let's split it up.
Let's split it up.
So I'm
It's
happy to
easier.
make an omnibus motion for Advanced Commercial Roofing for 1 year, Henson Robinson Company for 1 year, MTI Distribution Inc. for 1 year, Reynolds Towing Service for 1 year, Top Quality Roofing Company for 1 year, and WCP Solar for 2 years.
Is there a second?
I second.
Pardon me, is there a second?
I second.
All right, discussion.
I'm comfortable with the recommendations as stated. They seem pretty much in line with what we normally do.
I agree.
Fran? Good? Good. Samuel? All righty. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same. Thank you all. All right, Alex, we're going to move on to some renewals, please.
Okay, the first company renewing is Desmond Incorporated. They are a architectural and engineering service provider located in Chicago, Illinois. They are a medium-sized company, 93 employees. Their female utilization rate is 21.5% this year, an increase from last year, which was 20.6%. And their minority utilization rate is 48.4%, an increase from several years ago in 2013, which was 46.7%. Impressive. We are recommending certification for 2 years. We have Diggett of Champaign, which is a excavation service provider. They are located in Champaign, Illinois. They are a very small company. They are 4 employees. They have a female utilization of 1, which of course creates a 25% number. And at the moment, 0% minority workforce utilization, which gives them a 0%. Given their size, we're recommending certification at the 2-year mark. We have Growmark, who is applying for recertification. The last time they certified was in 2013. They have grown. They are now at 202 employees. Incidentally, they are a fuel service provider, and they are in the agriculture business. Their headquarters is in Bloomington, although they have Illini F&S here in Urbana. Their female utilization rate is 16.8%, and their minority utilization rate is 2, or 1.0%. The last time they were certified at 6 months. I had a telephone meeting with the official at the company responsible for EEO and for affirmative action, and we had a productive conversation. She submitted additional documentation for your review. You'll see towards the end a listing of some of the outreach efforts that they engage in. For example, they also point out that they have hired 6 minorities in 2015's calendar year, and the majority of those were seasonal workers. And the snapshot time at which they take the workforce statistics doesn't always reflect the yields that they receive in the seasonal employment category. Usually their October numbers are much more significant. By October, they've employed the majority of their seasonal work. And their minority utilization in the other jobs that they have are not as high as they are in the seasonal. However, they do not have a significant turnover in the permanent positions. After an extensive conversation with them and reviewing their outreach effort, I asked them about their sourcing, their candidate sourcing. I was quite impressed. They source across job boards, public job boards, and state agencies. They really market out what their jobs are in this industry. They regrettably don't get a good yield. They don't get good candidate flow from all this marketing effort. But it is good faith effort that they're engaging in. I expressed my concern, of course, that what more can you do? What more is possible, if you're not getting this kind of flow? And she indicated that they're quite excited that they've begun or they're expanding an outreach program to the universities, those universities that are in their core area, and they are creating some ambassador programs to reach to the undergraduates earlier, and they're now internally, the corporation is looking at the feasibility of a high school outreach. This is ag, and ag is an industry that sometimes has challenges reaching a diverse market, and so they're trying to do as much as they can to reach that. I was personally satisfied with the challenges they have in that industry and their efforts, and so I could see us certifying them for 1 year, especially given our previous conversations, that there's often little that can be done in 6 months. However, a check-in, that they submit new workforce statistics in 6 months, and once I review that, if I find any flags, all I could do a review with them, and if it's not resolved, bring it to your attention. So I would recommend 1 year certification with a 6-month updating of their workforce statistics.
Peter.
A question about this, and then a sort of more general question. You reviewed the outreach that they're doing. Is that consistent with other outreach that you see in the community? And sort of the bigger picture question is, do we keep track of the kinds of outreach that different companies do, maybe to give folks, a little cookbook if they're having trouble as maybe a future project? But I'm wondering if your feeling is, yeah, they're doing everything they can. I guess the thing that pricked up my ears was you said they're doing outreach at the university, which is great, but a tremendous number of their employees are listed as craft workers, which is skilled, operatives, which is semi-skilled, and laborers, which is unskilled, and those numbers are pretty even across the board, like they're a third, or maybe a little more in the semi-skilled. That doesn't seem like labor that necessarily needs university folks, people with degrees, especially for the unskilled. And so I'm wondering whether they're aiming correctly and whether you have a sense of they're hitting the right buttons.
With respect to the one of the questions, I captured 3. The first question is toolbox and assistance. Yes, I've already begun. We have a website now as part of in the human relations family of sites for public contractors and vendors. And it is now giving them additional tools, what we're looking for. It'll tell them letters that they can send to their unions. And as I'm collecting the different places that they're advertising and different strategies, I am notifying them. not publicly on that website. At some point, we will put those tools on there. The way I'm handling it now is when I get a problematic or concerning application, I'll immediately call them, and then as I listen to them, I'll send them examples of things they can do, and then they rectify and send back improved plans, or it jogs their memories of the thing, their memory of the things they've been doing, and then they'll issue a supplemental. Many times people are engaging in good faith efforts, but they're not tracking them and therefore not getting credit, and so that's been very helpful. I think I mentioned to you that I'm creating a database to track all of this data and best practices and strategies that I'm seeing that are very helpful. And that is about 66% complete, or 2/3% complete. I just have to find the time to complete the last piece and do the quality assurance to make sure that the data all ties together. And when that gets online, we'll be able to do something that you asked about in the past, is some analysis and trending. I think that by the October meeting of the HRC, it'll be finalized and checked and ready for reporting. So I'm really excited about that. So yes, we do have some library resource toolkit. I am tracking some of the things that I see that are best case scenario. And for example, one of them is I called a company that had an outstanding submission after I questioned some items. And I contacted them and asked if I could release it to the public website. And they were honored, but their legal counsel said no. And I offered to redact it heavily, and their legal counsel said no. And so one of the things I walked away from that is what I can do is create a model. And, ABC Company and, Doe and Jane and John and all that. And put that out there, and that would be ours. That wouldn't be, taking it from anyone. I just have to find the time to do that. But that is something that will really help, because some of these applications are not as robust as they could be in terms of articulating what they're doing. But once you ask them, they'll submit it.
And on this particular application, nothing that strikes you as suspicious or things that they're not really doing well?
No. I do have some questions which I'm going to look at the 6 month point. One of the things is that I'm going to be interested in having a conversation when we get together as a ordinance enforcement group. Affirmative action programs, the actual affirmative action report, really helps us know what their applicant flow looks like, how many were selected, how many were turned away. Many of your companies submit that right from the get-go. I conduct that examination of that document as your examiner. Some of those are 10, 15 pages. Some of them are 100 pages, single-sided. I'm encouraging online submission to save trees and to save on our storage. One of the things that I'm considering requiring the submission of it after consultation with you. The problem is that these documents are highly sensitive. They contain a lot of corporate information, and corporations are extremely loath to submit it in its entirety. So there is an opportunity to have a discussion about a way in which they can submit it for review, but not as part of their application. And so that'll be something that we can pick up in our ordinance enforcement meeting. At this point, it would be difficult to know about the applicant flow, but that was an area I'm going to focus on at the 6 month check-in. At this point, we have certified them for 6 months in the past. There has been an improvement in their good faith efforts, and so I would be comfortable recertifying them for a year with that focused look at the 6 month mark.
Any other questions regarding Growmark? and we can come back to them later.
The,
Alex, I
the
think
next company
Hoyer
is
Construction.
Hoyer Construction. And Hoyer Construction is a company located in Peoria. They provide underground construction services. They are a 49-person company, which has grown from 42 last year. Their female utilization rate is 8.2. Their minority utilization rate is 8.2. And we're recommending their recertification at 1 year. You'll notice that they were certified at 1 year last time. MSR Professional Service is seeking recertification. They are located in Champaign, Illinois. They provide access improvements. Their female utilization rate is 30%. They're a small company, 30 individuals. Their minority workforce utilization rate went down. They had 2 in 2012, which gave them a 7.1, and now they have 0, which brought them down to 0.0. At this, I went ahead and recommended 6-month certification. It was the practice in the past, but given our recent conversations, I could, of course, concur with 1-year certification and a 6-month submittal of updated workforce statistics. They are above our 25-person threshold, but I figured I'd have you all discuss that with me, or among yourselves, and see how you feel. Springfield Electrical Supply is located in Champaign, Illinois. They provide electrical supply distribution. They are currently bidding on a renewal of ongoing and future business. They are a large organization, 299 employees, 20.1% female utilization, and 6.7% minority utilization. Those are respectable numbers. They were certified one year last time, and we're recommending recertification for 1 year at the renewal. Finally, we have Upkeep Maintenance. Upkeep Maintenance has located in Urbana, Illinois. They're a janitorial provider. They have 63 employees this year. Their female utilization rate is 28.6%. Their minority utilization rate is 65.1%. Given those utilization rates, we're recommending their certification for 2 years. They were previously certified at 2 years.
Alex, thank you. Are there any questions or observations or motion on the floor?
So, one quick comment, and then I'll be happy to make a motion. On folks that you have marked for review, and now you've changed the recommendation, but I also, for folks that you mark as 6 months, I suspect that most of those we will want to see additional information. If you get those applications early enough, I would ask them for it straight away, on the presumption that, you know, I'm going to recommend 6 months, but the commission is very likely to be asking questions, and so why don't we start getting that information together for them? Sometimes I know you get them a week ahead before the meeting, but if there's time, I think that would be helpful. The only other thing I would say is, for Growmark, given that we're going to ask them to submit information in 6 months, and you know, we went in very concerned about the numbers, I don't have a problem going with 6 months so that we see the whole packet again and we can have a peek at it. The only other one that concerned me at all was Hair Construction. Yes, they have an 8.2 minority utilization. That's a drop from last time of 9.5, but this is, I think you said, a Peoria company?
Yeah, yes.
They have 0% African American utilization, 0% Latino utilization. It went down from 1 to 0. One and so 1%, 2% Asian population, and a surprising 3%, 6.1% utilization of Native Americans, which is different. I'm actually concerned about the distribution of those numbers. The overall number is low, which is why I think Alex recommended 1 year, but the rest of the numbers just don't look good. I would be inclined to get more information from these folks in 6 months and find out what's going on, especially given that in the last year they added 7 employees and things got worse. So I'm going to make a motion for Desmond Inc. for 2 years, Diggett of Champaign for 2 years, Growmark Inc. for 6 months, Hair Construction for 6 months, MSA Professional Services for 6 months, Springfield Electric Supply Company for 1 year, and Upkeep Maintenance Service for 2 years.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, discussion. In a similar vein, I often struggle with reducing it to numbers, but Pete, 162 to 202. So they've added 25% more workforce and it's still 0. That's trouble, you know. When you do break it out, is that even statistically possible? You know,
Well-
or they added one, excuse me. They added
They added one person who was
One-
African American,
yeah,
one
but-
person who was Asian, and
just
And you know, the reason that I'm wanting to go with 6 months on that, I mean, they have provided some information, and Alex has already indicated that, you know, they're having trouble. Okay, let's see if we can help them.
Yep.
If they can report back on what things are successful. I look forward to our being able to collect more and more of that data of, you know, a toolbox to help folks out. I'd love to hear from some community organizations of, if you really want to get this community, this is the place to go. Might be really helpful information. And conversely, if you really want to avoid our community, that's the way to make it look like you're trying but not really doing it. Would be also good information to keep a flag up for of, oh, someone's trying to route around. So yeah, I think those 6 month recommendations that we can really get a new packet, see where they're going, and if we have to next time, do a full review and say, guys, you're not getting anywhere and that doesn't look good. I think
And it's
that's
certainly
fine.
okay, I seem to make small mention of, we do value the good faith efforts you've made, but we'd like to just check back in and say, you know, still, it doesn't have to be connotated as negative, just we want to check back in.
It's not punishment.
It's,
It's encouragement, but review, and we're still having concerns.
Fran?
Well, it just always concerns me when I see that some significant amount of hiring was done, and yet the populations whose welfare we're concerned about has gone down. That's just a big red flag, in my opinion. And when you hire 40 people, you hire 7 people, you hire 25%, you hire 17%, and you can't manage to have more than maybe one person of color there or something. It's just fishy. And something's wrong somewhere along the line. Maybe they're reaching out to the university. Maybe they should be reaching out. And they are apparently, but more to the high school level, where people may be really looking for a career that would fit, even if maybe it's not traditional for their ethnic group or something. It doesn't matter. People can take advantage of new opportunities. So I have nothing against those recommendations.
Any other thoughts about the motion on the floor? Alex, it looked like you were going to say something I may not.
I was just going to add, I share a similar philosophy that any agency that does examining, such as, or unit, such as my office on behalf of the HRC, we walk a line. We, of course, I am an enforcement and compliance officer, and so when we request this information and we're reviewing it, we're in a auditing sort of compliance review posture. We also, though, as an office, provide technical assistance, as does the Department of Labor, the EEOC, and many other agencies to their consumers. So whether they be employers or contractors. So I have been working very much so with the employers. If you have any questions, pick up the phone and we will help you. And I've given you a couple of stories that we're making significant progress in that. People really feel they can call and get technical assistance. And so that really goes to what Peter, you're speaking about in terms of helping. However, these organizations are paying these HR, EEO, and affirmative action professionals a lot of money. They are allocating significant budgets. They are part of societies. They have best practices. And so many of them know what they're supposed to do. Many of them have much more access to sophisticated systems than I could ever provide. But I still, it never hurts, and it is always helpful to have that check-in and that customer service component, which I think, Peter, you're speaking to, and also to pass on best practices of what we're seeing among our applicants. So that is, I'm right there. But, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because I had an employer that says, well, what do you want me to do? And I had to kindly remind that employer that it's not my job to run your company. And of course, very tactfully said. And I help the employer understand, you probably go to business development lunches. You probably spend money on marketing. You probably have these initiatives that you invest a lot of money in and go to seminars to figure out how to get more business or how to tap into this market. Well, I would ask you to consider, reflect on your processes. Are you engaging in that similar inquiry and investment with respect to your workforce, full utilization of the American workforce? And he said, the person said, I see your point. And so I said, I'm always here to provide technical assistance. If something's confusing, a regulation's confusing, I'm even, down the road, we can even begin a mentorship program where some of these companies are we're seeing some of these companies that are doing great work that can help some of these smaller companies or mid-sized companies. So I'm really with you, but as an examiner, and I'm always concerned that I don't want to be in a position where a company's telling me, what do you want me to do? Because as a government entity, I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you what we're looking for or how the criteria that we're analyzing, and you need to do your best to do that. And that's the standard. And I think that as we get together, we're going to find that nice balance of really supportive and information, best practice sharing, especially with the smaller companies. So I hope that is responsive.
Absolutely. So there is a motion on the floor. Is everyone still familiar with the slight change? Is there any last discussion, questions, observations? All right. If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, a little quick. Sorry. Marion's inside. Opposed? The same. Did that go okay? Okay. All right, Alex. Where would you like to go to next? The HRO activity report.
Yes. Let me just press this down. Okay. This reporting tool is about 85% done, so hopefully it'll be fine. This reporting tool is almost done. It's about 85% complete, and I will have it complete by our next session. In terms of substantial contacts, I get a lot of phone calls. One of the things through all the outreach effort, I get a significant amount of phone calls. And today in particular, one of the social agencies in the community approached me and said, after some of the outreach we've been doing, we've referred somebody that has been discriminated against to the HRO office. I said, great. I'm getting more and more of those calls. And so I'm going to be tracking more than just the substantive contacts. I'm also going to be tracking the inquiries. And so that will soon be part, because this is giving you like the really substantive contact, and there's much more activity than this. And that's in terms of the substantive contact. In terms of our complaint processing, I'm just going to, this is last month's, I'm going to go ahead and update you orally, and then for the next session, you'll have a written copy. With respect to the first case, a determination has been made of no probable cause, and I'm in the process of drafting that determination. In the second case, there is that settlement discussions are ongoing. In the third case, settlement conversation is ongoing. In the fourth case, a determination of no probable cause has been made, and I will be preparing that and transmitting it to the parties. In the next case, there is trying to remember this. With this particular case, I'll have to update you on the next session. When it doesn't have names, I have trouble. They all have names in my head. Mm-hmm. In the next case, race age retaliation, the investigation phase is approaching. A determination has been made of no probable cause, and that is approaching a settlement. Yes, that is approaching a settlement. In the next case, we are responding to the second RFI. In the following case, the attorneys have submitted their response, and I'm going to be preparing an RFI, which is like a subpoena. In the next case, we are we reach a settlement. The parties, the complainant is very satisfied, and that case is now closed. And in the final case, we have just received the response from the attorneys, and I'm in the process of reviewing their legal arguments, and we'll be preparing an RFI or a subpoena, which is like a subpoena as appropriate.
Wonderful. Are there any questions for Alex? All right, thanks for the update. Moving on to our budget report. Things just turned, I think, right?
Yes, this month's budget report is short and sweet. We have no new expenditures to report this month.
Thank you, Tony. Peter.
So with regard to Alex's reimbursement, and the only issue is, I think if you want to vote out of us, we'd have to have it on the agenda, which it's not. I think you can get a sense of the commission. We could go around and just do a quick straw poll. I don't have any problem with spending $35 for this. So if you can, if we do a little straw poll, Alex can adjust his budget to make sure that he knows that $35 is there. We can get it on next month and approve it. You want to just hold
well, real
commission?
quick, I was going to say, I mean, what did we get for 35? Because can we give a little more? Can we, would we?
We can give more.
It started
I
the school year.
purchased. I went to Office Max and I purchased.
Okay, but
lots of notebooks, the spiral bound notebooks.
Excellent.
Like 60 and 10 crayons. Little. It's so long ago. I was saying that,
would the commission be interested in raising that donation to $100 for school supplies? Or
Which line would this come out of? Grants and sponsorships or community educate? No, it would be grants and sponsorships.
What's
Well,
that?
that's a nice hefty budget.
I think.
I would agree to increase it to $100. It's a great opportunity to help out our own.
This is part of, it's most importantly good to do, but it's also would coincide with this little blitz of publicity we're generating for ourselves, right? Other
Do you have
thoughts?
time to go back?
I'll go back to
Sorry, would you? Okay. No, Samuel, pardon me.
No, I was just thinking. I was just thinking about since we have these different events that we're going to be participating in as well. That might be an opportunity to maybe pass along some items.
With our information.
Yes.
Great idea.
Wonderful
Like
idea.
a pen or something useful.
Yeah.
A pen.
So get $100 on next month's agenda.
Yeah, let's,
A pencil that says "Don't discriminate."
yeah.
I was a teacher of logic, and I always said,
What's the tagline on our card?
"Think" on the pencils.
Right.
So
Oh, I like.
But no,
don't discriminate.
yeah. Okay, can we add that item for next month's agenda to formally approve of $100 from grants and sponsorship? That's okay?
I think so.
Alrighty, Alex, a couple announcements.
the first announcement is the 2016 Champaign-Urbana International Humanitarian Awards Night is going to occur next month on Thursday. I'm sorry, let me start over since my mic was off. The 2016 Champaign-Urbana International Humanitarian Awards Night or Gala will happen next month on Thursday, September 8th. At I think cocktail reception is at 5:45 p.m. and the dinner program is at 6:30 p.m. This is, in my opinion, one of the signature events of Champaign-Urbana. Both mayors are present. Many members of the community are present. It is a ticketed event. It's $35, and you can purchase the tickets through the City of Champaign Community Relations Office. It is jointly sponsored by both cities. I'm very pleased to announce the award winners for this year. Dr. Omar Al-Hidi has been awarded a humanitarian award for his humanitarian relief efforts. He has been doing some significant work in Syria, and with everything that's going on currently in the news about Syria, it's really impressive. Dominique Arnold, the Human Rights Award. Leanne Kosman, the Human Relief Award. Miraza Community Service Center, a Hospitality Award. And Walking with Angels Research and Education Award. I cannot impress upon you how amazing these individuals are as we looked at their nominations. They are local people. I could think of that butterfly that flaps and there's a tsunami, or that drop that ripples. They are local people, and here's the key, having an impact internationally from here. They're truly a remarkable group. And one of the things that the committee had to look at this year is Miraza is actually located in Arcola, but they serve individuals in Champaign and Urbana, and people travel there and they travel here to help immigrants. And so the committee chose to honor them this year. And it's particularly unique because they may be closing their doors because of the funding issues. And so we've invited the mayor of Arcola to attend, and he is looking to RSVP. We've also invited the Douglas County Health Board, Department of Health, as they have funded Miraza during this period of time, to come and honor the group. All of the individuals are ecstatic that they are receiving these awards and deeply humbled. So anyone that can come, you are greatly encouraged to come. It is a ticketed event, and there are some complimentary tickets for members of the commission. So if you are interested in attending, please notify Tony, and we will make sure to reserve a ticket for you. You have already received your invitation by mail. For those that the City of Champaign did not have an address for, we have given you the hard copy invitation, and we have also gone ahead and given you an printed copy. And so if you can make it, please come out. It's a wonderful event. And would you mind adding a little bit about your experience?
I agree. It's a very inspiring event. It's a lot of fun. There's music, there's art, there's good food, there's a lot of diversity and people who are doing really impressive things. So I've enjoyed working on the committee with Alex and see how that functions, and very impressed with it. I would love to see everybody there. I think you'll enjoy yourselves and be inspired and meet people. That's how I got to know the mayor a little bit. And you sit with people and get to know each other, get to know other interesting people, and people who are coming to support and see the particular individuals get this award. You see the diversity and the breadth of the kind of efforts that go on in our community. So it's really great.
And then the only other announcement is that the committee for the 2017 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Countywide celebration is busy at work. They have just completed their first draft of a website that will showcase the event. It'll be out there, independent of both cities. As many of you know already, this is an event sponsored by the four large institutions: the University of Illinois, Parkland College, the City of Champaign, the City of Urbana, and the Champaign County Board. So 5. We are very excited that the new website, which will hopefully launch next month, is going to automate everything. You will now be able to sponsor. 3 awards are given in that forum. Individuals online nominate them for the award, and entities that want to sponsor the event can also pledge sponsorships online. We're also very excited that many amazing people have received the Martin Luther King Award over the years, and we want to continue to honor them and recognize them. So it has a Hall of Fame, if you will, piece to the website where you can see ongoing recognition of who those persons are. In its first phase, they'll just be listed. In further phases, as resources permit, we're going to look to flesh out what they did back in 2009 or back in 1997, and if you're interested in supporting their work, how you can go about doing that. And again, to continue to promote, this event is particularly beautiful because it's open to everyone. It's free. The community comes together. And there is a moment in time where there is a profound renewing of Dr. King's dream. And it is so intimately related to our work on the commission because it is a celebration of human rights, civil rights, and community relations. And so I'm going to encourage all of you to attend that event in January. It's always the Friday preceding the Monday holiday, and it's at 4, so you can get to the event. It's usually, it's like a haiku, very compressed and beautiful. You get out at 5. You get there at 4 and you get out at 5. And we're going to have, of course, hors d'oeuvres in the reception portion of it. And so we're really excited. We're going to really ask for the commission's help this year to make sure that we get the nomination process out so that we really are capturing the wealth of individuals that are doing outstanding work. And that concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Alex. Any other announcements? Well, thank you all for coming. We are adjourned.